Hey everybody, it's time to go over some of this packet. On this video, I'm going to cover pages 6 through 9, starting with a lost pet and going through crossing borders. All right, so get your packet out and I'm going to read everything through and hopefully you're just checking your answers that you've already done. A lost pet. Keith stepped out of his house to get the newspaper. He noticed a dog digging in his mom's flower bed. He leaned over to pet its soft, clean coat. Excited about the attention, the dog began licking Keith's face. Keith knew that the dog could not possibly be a stray. He looked around for someone who could be the owner. He didn't see anyone, but the dog had a collar with a blue tag. A phone number was etched into the tag. The dog licked Keith's hand and seemed happy to be with him. For a moment, he thought about how nice it would be to get to keep the dog as his own pet. Then he remembered what it was like when he had a cat that got lost. He was sad for a long time. The dog's owner may feel sad too. He knew what would be the right thing to do. What will probably happen if Keith calls the number on the tag? A, the dog will find a new owner. B, Keith will take off the dog's tag. C, Keith will find his lost pet cat. Or D, the owner will pick up the dog. And the best answer is D, the owner will pick up the dog. All right, lost and found. Kim and Chico walked home from school together each day. One afternoon, as they walked through the park, Chico saw something shiny lying on the ground. She pointed it out to Kim. "It's a watch," Kim said, bending down to pick it up. She ran her fingers across the diamonds surrounding the watch face. "Let me see," Chico said. "Is it broken?" "No, the watch is fine, but look, the clasp on the strap is broken. I bet the person who lost it doesn't even know it fell off." "What should I do?" Chico asked. "You should keep it," Kim said. "It's beautiful. Finders keepers, you know." "One time I lost my necklace," Chico said, putting her hand up to touch the blue stone that hung from a silver chain around her neck. "The clasp broke and my necklace fell onto the school parking lot. When I had realized it was gone, I rushed to the office to ask if anyone had turned it in. I didn't think that anyone had. If someone had found it, I was afraid they would keep it. I was so sad." "So what happened?" Kim asked. "Someone did turn it in," Chico said. "That was one of my happiest days." "So, what are you going to do?" Kim asked. "I plan on putting up flyers to see if someone has lost it," Chico replied. Number 8, how does the reader know that the watch is expensive? A, it has a broken clasp. B, it is lying on the ground. C, it has diamonds on the face. Or D, it is on a silver chain. And the answer is C. There are diamonds on the face of the watch. That would show that it was expensive. And expensive means worth a lot of money or cost a lot of money. All right, we're on page 7, day 3, the dig. The men on the construction site lift beams and girders as easily as lifting pennies. The tubes from their tractors exhale steam when they sigh. The foreman's voice croaks and roars like a bullfrog. One by one, their machines tear through the trees. They bully over the land like a baker's pen rolling out dough. In the absence of the trail, a skyscraper will be built. It will be large enough to touch the moon. The building's teeth will withstand the sun and wind. Its guts will house people. The men are giants. Their footprint in the wet concrete will be seen by everyone. They will be known by their shoe sizes. The land is a ghost in a dirty sheet. It needs to be cleaned and cleared and clipped. The land is like a fugitive on the run. It needs a new name and a new face and a new home. Number 1, which of the following is an example of metaphor from the poem? A, the land is a ghost in a dirty sheet. B, they will be known by their shoe sizes. C, the tubes from their tractors exhale steam when they sigh. D, they bully over the land like a baker's pen rolling out dough. All right, so a lot of these choices are figurative language. It was just knowing which one was metaphor. The one that is metaphor is A, the land is a ghost in a dirty sheet. Remember when we see that form of be, am, is, are, was, were, and it's followed up by telling you something is something that it's really not, which is what figurative language is. The land is a ghost in a dirty sheet. So I imagine that it's empty, and the dirty sheet is the soil or the dirt over top of it. And that's why they're making that comparison. C, the tubes from their tractors exhale steam when they sigh is an example of personification, because a tractor cannot sigh, only people sigh. And D, they bully over the land like a baker's pen rolling out dough is an example of a simile. They are comparing, but they're using the word like, comparing the tractor to a baker's pen that both are rolling. All right, number 2, what does the author mean by saying the tubes from their tractors exhale steam when they sigh? The tractors are letting out steam is A. B, the tractors are going to break down. C, the tractors are too tired to work. Or D, the tractors do not enjoy their jobs. That's cute. All right, the answer is A, the tractors are letting out steam. And then in that motion is like a sigh that a person would do. And that's why they're using that as a comparison. All right, number 3, the coffee mug huffed a cloud of smoke. It seemed to heat the entire desk. Its smell filled every corner of the room. Everyone in the office gathered around the coffee maker for a fresh cup. The boss was not happy that work had stopped. Then she poured herself a cup of coffee too. Pretty soon, everybody had forgotten about work. All that was missing were some donuts. Which sentence from the passage makes something seem human? A, all that was missing were some donuts. B, the coffee mug huffed a cloud of smoke. C, its smell filled every corner of the room. Or D, then she poured herself a cup of coffee too. So the one that seems most human would be B, the coffee mug huffed a cloud of smoke. So if you huff, you're like, right? So a coffee mug can't do that, but a person can. So that's another example of personification. Number 4, the moon arched its back in the car's window. It seemed to be snagged on the night. Even the stars were painted over by the night. Preston looked out at the blackness of the night. The way the car shook along the road kept him from sleeping during the trip. He had hoped that the trip would be prettier. In the night, though, nothing was pretty. What does the author mean by saying the moon arched its back in the car's window? A, the moon had a painful backache. B, the moon was curved in the night sky. C, the moon was really driving the car. Or D, the moon had to stretch to be seen. Now, I really don't like this question, I'm going to tell you. B and D, I think it's a hard choice between that. The moon being curved in the sky, meaning it could be, and it could be the way that you're seeing it is like an arch. Okay, so that if you pick that, I could see that. D, the moon had to stretch to be seen. When we arch our back, it's kind of like a stretch. So I can see if you answered that one as well. So B or D is fine, just throw it out. Okay, moving on. Christy and her sister Leslie were playing a board game in their bedroom. Leslie was winning. Christy did not like losing, but she tried very hard to keep a smile on her face. Underneath her smile, she was a steaming tea kettle. Leslie kept getting further ahead. Then Christy ended up flipping over a card that sent her back to the start of the board game. Leslie smiled like a clown. She was excited because she had finally beat her sister for the first time. Number 5, which of the following sentences has a simile? A, Leslie smiled like a clown. B, then Christy ended up flipping over a card that sent her back to the start of the board game. C, Leslie kept getting further ahead. D, she was excited because she had finally beat her sister for the first time. So the answer there would be A. Leslie smiled like a clown, using like. All right, I'm on page 9 now. And this will be the last page for this video. I will go over a few pages tomorrow, so we'll look at that at the end of this video, what I'll be going over. All right, page 9. The day of the big race was finally here. Sam was both excited and nervous about the track meet. Although he had easily won all the races he had run this season, this time he would be racing against some tougher competition. Sam walked up to the starting line and checked out the other racers. One of the racers caught his attention. There was a boy in a yellow jersey who was at least 6 inches taller than Sam. The boy was a giant next to the other runners. Sam got nervous by the boy's appearance. He thought the other boy would surely outrun him with his long, muscular legs. The boy looked very confident. He too had won all his races this season. Sam stepped up to the starting blocks and got in position. The starting gun went off. The other boy bolted like lightning out of the starting blocks. He was off to a commanding lead. Sam was running as swiftly as he could, but he was still behind the other boy. For the first few seconds, it appeared that the other boy might win. Sam did not want to be defeated this easily. He mustered some strength within himself and began to run more rapidly. He ran as fast as a cheetah around the track and past the other runners. He narrowed the gap between him and the boy in the yellow jersey. Sam was determined to triumph over the other runner. He continued at his speedy pace until he finally caught up with his rival. At this point, the two were running neck and neck, and it was difficult to determine who would win. Then, at the last possible moment, Sam took the lead. He crossed the finish line a split second before the other boy. Sam was victorious. Number 6, which sentence contains a simile? A, he crossed the finish line a split second before the other boy. B, Sam was running as swiftly as he could, but he was still behind the other boy. C, for the first few seconds, it appeared that the other boy might win. Or D, he ran as fast as a cheetah around the track and past the other runners. And the answer there is D. He ran as fast as a cheetah. All right, moving on, crossing borders. I believe the way we say this character's name is Katarzyna, in case you were struggling with that. All right, here we go. Katarzyna could not find the papers anywhere. The only thing her father had asked her to do was to take care of the papers. Her family was crossing the border of the country that night, and the papers were very important to the journey. Yuri and Nikolai, her little brothers, were already curled up in their blankets. If I cannot even keep some paper safe, how can I help take care of my brothers? She told herself sadly as she watched her brothers sleep. She seriously doubted if she was ready to help her father. Never had Katarzyna missed her mother as she did that night. Katarzyna panicked and felt alone. Late that night, as Katarzyna lit the candle to write her troubling thoughts, she found loose sheets of papers neatly folded and tucked inside her journal. Ah, I found them after all, Katarzyna thought, breathing a sigh of relief. Writing her thoughts every day had always helped Katarzyna through the happiest and saddest times in her life. As she put the papers in a cloth purse and tied it to her waist, Katarzyna sat down to write all she was feeling that night. What will Katarzyna most likely do in the journey? A, tell her father to skip the journey. B, ask her mother to help her pack. C, give the papers to her brothers. Or D, try to keep the papers safer. And that answer is D, that she probably learned her lesson after her panic moment of losing the papers, and they were so important. All right, guys, tomorrow I will post a video we'll go from page 10 through page 13. All right, so if you haven't done those yet, maybe you can do those today or this evening, and we will go over 10 through 13 tomorrow. All right, have a good day.